Hey guys, so today I want to talk to you all about using your intuition, strengthening your intuition, and really believing in yourself and trusting what comes through for you. So I have been intuitive my whole life, and only recently, the past couple years, has it gotten really strong and really solid. And how that happened was a couple of reasons. One, it was a negative experience, and then another was that I started trusting myself, and then another was that I started to keep data on my intuitive hits. So I want to start at the beginning of this story. And a few years ago, I was subletting for the summer a apartment. And while I was there, one day I picked up the trash and I picked up my car keys, and I had went to the car. I put something in the car for one of my friends, and then I walked over to the dumpster, put the trash in there, and then I went back to my apartment, which took me all of about 2 minutes to do this, you know what I mean? It was a large complex, but I wasn't that far away from the dumpster, you know what I mean? So anyway, I did that. When I came back in the house, I could smell cigarette smoke. Someone had come in my apartment through the door because I didn't lock it, and they took all my electronic equipment and my really expensive camera, and they went out the window. And so I was really shaken because of that. And, when the cops came, they said, that person had been watching me, etc., like waiting to see when they could steal my stuff. And, a lot of the windows were open, so I realized, or not the windows, excuse me, the blinds were open. So I realized they could see like the electronic equipment that was in there. And that experience, even though it was like very disorienting at the time, etc., because I'd never been stolen from before, I realized that I knew that was going to happen. My intuition had been telling me that was going to happen. One day I got the intuitive hit, you need to move the camera. The camera is in front of the sliding glass door so people can see the camera, and you need to move it. So I remember I closed the blinds, and I remember I packed up all the camera stuff, and I put it somewhere really random in the house that made absolutely no sense that you would put it there. And I left it there for a while. For weeks I left it there because I felt like somebody sees that camera, somebody's going to steal that camera. And then what happened is time passed, I forgot about it. So, I did kind of follow my intuition, but like today, that would never happen. After my experience of getting robbed, like that would never happen because I trust myself so much. Whereas back then, I didn't. So what ended up happening is after a few weeks that I had the camera in the really strange place, I ended up taking it out. I wanted to do a video. I did the video. I left the camera sitting out on its tripod. I was leaving it about 2 days. I wasn't really thinking about all this. And I was busy like packing up my stuff, getting it ready to get in the car, etc. And then, I took out the trash, and then someone came in and they took the camera, because they could see, oh, there it is again, she left it out. And, I learned massive, valuable lessons from that, and I'm not upset that it happened. It's fine. It was a lesson. I learned how to I learned that it's really good that you have renter's insurance, which I did, so I did get a check from the insurance company for the stuff that was stolen, so, it was fun. I was able to replace things. But the most valuable lesson, aside from all that, was that, I've learned to trust myself. And just as a side note, you can get renter's insurance bundled with your car insurance. So if you don't already have that, you should call your insurance company, and putting it together will make it less, just so you know. I was surprised how many of my friends didn't know that. But anyway, side note. So anyway, back to the story. So then I started to trust my intuition even more because I knew that was going to happen. I knew somebody had their eye on that camera. I knew they were going to take it. And they also stole my older computer, and it was just whatever. It was just this thing. So, after that, I started to decide, okay, I'm going to record my intuitive hits. So I got this little book, and this little notebook, and the only thing I was putting in there was when I got an intuitive hit about something, I would write it down. This could be about anything. It would be about what was going to happen on the weekend. It'd be about, that person's going to cancel. They're not going to show up. It would be about, this is going to happen instead of that. I would just write it in the book, especially things that happened at work, because I realized I was getting downloads all day long about everything, about what that person was going to do, about a decision the manager was going to make, about how the night would go, all sorts of things. So I just started, recording it, and that was good in the sense that, number one, it allowed me to start to notice and log in my subconscious, this is an intuitive hit, right, versus this is an ego thought. And then when I started doing that, I had so many things to write down during the day. I was like, wow, I am getting intuitive hits all over the place. So that was the first realization. I'm getting information all of the time. The second thing that happened was then I started to wait to get feedback to see if I was right. So if I was right, I would go back to each little entry, and this was really just rough, right? Like I put what I thought was going to happen and then a space under it where I could go back and write what actually happened. And like I remember I would go back through my book every week and I'd be like, oh, was I right or was I wrong? And what I found was that I was either right or it was unverified. And this happened over pages and pages and pages of me writing and doing this for weeks and weeks and weeks. I don't really remember how many weeks it was. I think it was like 2 weeks, or excuse me, 2 months. And then after that, I kind of got bored and stopped doing it because I got what I needed to know, which was basically everything that I had an intuitive hit on was either correct or unverified. And then after a while, I started trusting myself so much. I was like, you know what? Do I really need it verified? Like, I have a 100% track record with the things that have been verified. And then I have this small chunk of things that I don't know the answer to. And some of it, you know, I couldn't know. Because some of the hits would be things that like, I don't know how to verify that unless the person tells me, and I can't go ask them. It's inappropriate because I just got this download about them that, I mean, I don't know why I got it, but I'm certainly not going to go ask them, hey, did da-da-da-da happen, right? You know what I mean? Things like that. And I would get intuitive hits about like people's intentions, people that liked me, people that didn't like me, and like why. So I started writing all that down. Fascinating. But anyways, so that helped me a lot. So if you want to strengthen your intuition, you've got to start trusting yourself. And it's really easy to start trusting yourself when you have verifiable data. Like I'm all about, you know, using your intuition and using the, you know, things that you have at your disposal in order to help you make correct choices for you, make choices that are solid, make choices that are soul aligned, you know, to take the path that is most correct for your soul and not get distracted by like ego things. And I just think that's really, really important. And one of the ways that makes it easy to do that is when you have verifiable data and you're like, oh, see, I was right about that. I was right about that. That was verified, etc., etc., etc. Another thing that you can do, and I started doing this when I learned tarot, is one of the ways I learned and practiced the cards besides the other video I did where I explained that the best way to learn is actually just to teach it, you know, to either someone or to just like teach it to, even though there's nobody there, just like pretend like you're teaching it to someone. That was the other video I made, which I'll link in the description. But the other thing you can do is just start pulling a couple of cards on situations, simple things, simple things. Somebody new gets hired at work. Just pull a card, you know, pull a card and then put it in a notebook, write down, this was my question, this was the card I got, and just what's your intuitive hit about that, right? So ask simple questions about things that are happening all day long, right? The new person that gets hired, all right, are they going to fit in with the whole staff? You could ask that question. You could ask another question like, you know, am I going to like them, get along with them, be friends with them? That's another question. Another one is like, are they going to be good at their job, right? Are they going to be accepted in the structure? Things like that. And you can do this for all sorts of things that are going on in your life. And I have one deck that I carry. It's this one. I love this one. It's the Hanson Roberts Tarot. I, of course, edged it, and I have a video on edging. And I keep this in my car. I have a little tin that I got off of eBay, which I had to make sure it was the correct size. But I got this little tin because I hate the packaging that this deck comes in. It's like paper. Of course it's going to shred. So anyways, but I got this little tin so that I could put these in. And I leave it in my car. And this way if I put it in my purse or whatever, it won't get damaged, etc. But that's my like travel deck. So I have a deck that like always sits in the car console. Like it always goes with me. You know, and then all my other decks stay at home. So I have two of these decks. This is the car deck, right? And then everything else stays in the house. And, you know, I would do that so that if I would be out and I would be doing something and something would occur to me, I could just, you know, sit for a minute in the car, center myself. You know, I always have a notebook with me. I try to put this all in the same notebook, though. You know, I would write down my little question, pick a card or two, write down my answer, or if I was going to the coffee shop and some things occurred to me, you know, I just asked a couple of questions and let the downloads come through. You know, so because I wanted to make tarot and using my intuition like this normal, natural thing that happened all day long and was this sort of like flowy situation where like I knew that I could trust myself. I knew that I could have access to guidance anytime I wanted. I knew that I could sit down, center myself, close my eyes for a second, anywhere I was, concentrate on my question and pull a card and get some guidance in that moment. You know, I wanted to make it an extension of my life. And what you'll find is that when you start to use your intuition all the time and do that, you start to just know intuitively, like, the answer before you pull the card. It's almost like you don't even need to pull the card anymore. But it's fun to pull cards, and I still pull them. And it's the same thing with like a pendulum. A pendulum is, you know, something that you use to muscle test yourself and ask yourself questions. So like I could use this as a pendulum, and I would be like, show me yes, right? So like this is my yes, and I could be like, show me no, and then this is my no. And how this works is that it's like unconscious movements move the pendulum to let you know what your subconscious thinks. So show me maybe. Show me maybe. Yep, there we go. My maybe is back and forth, or this is my no, and then my yes is like this. And my I don't know any more information is this. Anyway, and then there's diagonal too. But now, like, when you are used to using your intuition and being really tuned in all the time, I used to use the pendulum all the time, but now I can like ask the question and I can feel in my body's response, whether it's yes, no, more information, whatever. And sometimes I still use the pendulum, but I can just access it directly without the other thing, without like the cards or without the pendulum, etc. And that just comes through practice, and that comes through trusting yourself, and that comes through using it all the time. And I still use the cards, and I still use the pendulum. But a lot of times I can just like be very solid in myself, be journaling, ask a question, get an answer, keep journaling, ask a question, get an answer. Sometimes I use cards and the pendulum, and I just feel within myself what the answer is, and I can just very easily go through my subconscious and clear out and understand what it is, you know, that I need to know in order to be aligned and to move forward and make choices. Okay, so yeah, I feel like this is what I really wanted to tell you guys and express today. Try doing the practice of keeping the little book and, you know, writing down all your intuitive hits and see what happens. And notice the different ways that your intuition speaks to you. You know, sometimes I hear things in my head, not all the time, just occasionally. Like at work, maybe a year ago, someone was hired, and she sat next to me, and I heard in my head, oh, he plans to make this person manager. I knew like that. I knew immediately. And it was clear within a week that this person was not manager material. Like I was like, oh, that's not going to happen. My manager's definitely changed his mind. I knew all of this. He didn't say any of it. Nobody said any of it until about a month later. One of the other people I worked with, who is a sub-manager, told me, well, you know, he had planned on making that person manager when he moved to the other restaurant. And I was like, huh, what do you know? I said, really? When did he change his mind? And he went, oh, it was fast. Within the first week, he realized it wasn't going to work. And I thought, yeah. Because, like, I knew that because I already had a download for that. So, yeah, you can get, so that was an example of my intuition being verified, right? I just love stuff like this, right? It makes me so excited. So anyway, yeah, I hope that you guys try my little like book method, you know, try to allow tarot to be like a part of your life, you know, pull a card each morning. What do I need to know for the day? What is my like sacred focus? What does my soul want me to focus on today? Bring more of forth. What am I not to focus on today? So that's always a fun thing, right? One card for what to focus on for the day and one card to what not to focus on for the day, right? But also pull cards for fun things that happen about, you know, things going on at work and people and what you think is going to happen. Super fun. Alright guys, I hope this video was super useful. Let me know in the comments if you liked it, and yeah, I'll talk to you later. Bye!